In this tutorial, we explore the DynamicPDF portal's file manager and the portal's font manager, used for manipulating global fonts used by your organization. You use the file manager to add, edit, and delete your resources that you wish to store in the cloud, while you use global fonts to manipulate global fonts used by your organization when using the API. If you're not familiar with the DynamicPDF API, then you should first watch the Getting Started tutorial for an overview. You must have a DynamicPDF API account before completing the steps in this tutorial. You can sign up for a free account on our website. Let's start by logging into the portal. After logging in, you're first taken to the portal's dashboard. Select Files from the Dashboard menu to open the File Manager panel. Next, select Samples, and then click Add Samples to open a listing of available samples. We want to use the Getting Started sample, so select that sample. Click Add, and the sample is added to your cloud storage. Select the Getting Started folder, and you see a JSON data file, an image used by the report, and a DLEX file. A DLEX file contains the template for building the PDF report, while the JSON file contains the test data used by the DLEX file. Because the DLEX file and the JSON both have the same name, you can double-click on the DLEX file, and it opens it in Designer, and it also loads the JSON. Double-click on the DLEX file now. And the DLEX file is opened in Designer. Designer is where you graphically create PDF reports and documents. Now, click the little green arrow to generate the PDF, and the PDF is generated. Now close the PDF. Okay, this is not a tutorial in Designer, so go ahead and close Designer and return to the File Manager in the portal. Now, right-click on the Getting Started.dlex file. Select Copy File Path, and the file's relative path is copied to your clipboard. This file path is the relative path to a resource in DynamicPDF Cloud Storage. For example, you might use the DLEX layout endpoint and specify the JSON data comes from a local resource, while the DLEX file comes from cloud storage. Right-click the DLEX file and select Download from the context menu. The DLEX file is downloaded to your local file system. Now delete the DLEX file. Let's add the DLEX file back to cloud storage. If you want to add a file from your local file system to cloud storage, you need to drag it to the large button seen here. So from Downloads on my local file system, I'm going to drag and drop the DLEX file to the button. And as you can see, it's added back to cloud storage. Now let's go ahead and delete the Getting Started folder altogether. Right-click the Getting Started folder and select Delete. It'll ask you, do you really want to delete all the files and subfolders? We do, so click Yes, and the folder and files are deleted. Now I'm going to create a new folder named Global Fonts Example. Right-click the root folder and select New Folder from the context menu. Name the folder Global-Fonts-Example. You can add a new DLEX file to a folder by right-clicking and selecting New DLEX from the context menu. Give it the same name as the folder, Global Fonts Example. Click Save, and it adds the new DLEX file to the folder. Double-click the DLEX file to open it in Designer. Click Add Page to add a new page to the DLEX file. Now save the DLEX file and close Designer. Let's rename the DLEX file. Right-click on the file, select Rename from the context menu, and change the name to Global Fonts Example-Revised. Okay, we're done with the File Manager for now. Let's switch gears and explore the portal's Global Fonts panel. The portal's Global Fonts panel is where you manipulate fonts globally for your organization's applications. I'm going to add some fonts for my local file system. But before continuing, let's go ahead and review what fonts are already available to you. Double-click on Global Fonts Example Revised to open it in Designer. Right-click anywhere on the page, and a context menu appears. Select Add Label to add a label to that page. Go ahead and resize the label, change the font size to a larger size, And just above the font size property is a font property. Open the font dialog. Select built-in. Notice these are the Adobe PDF built-in fonts that all PDF readers should support. Select Google, and you see that you can add any Google font. Select Added Global, and notice the list of fonts is empty. That's because we don't have any global fonts added for my organization. So, I need to go back to the portal and add some global fonts. Close the dialog and save the DLX file. Return to the portal's Global Fonts panel. Notice the large button that you drag and drop fonts to add them to your organization's global fonts. You can then use these fonts in any of your organization's applications. I have some fonts named Perpetua on my local file system, so I'm going to add them here by dragging and dropping the fonts to the button. And the fonts are added as global fonts. Return to Designer and select the label we added previously. Open the font dialog. Select Global Fonts and we see the list of fonts we just added globally. Highlight Perpetua, then click Select to save our selection. In the text property, type Perpetua. The text appears in the label with the Perpetua font style applied. Add another label and repeat for Perpetua Bold. Notice that this time we autocomplete the font name as we type Perpetua. Now add another label with the Perpetua Bold Italic font. And finally, add a label and apply Perpetua Italic. Click Run to generate the PDF. And the PDF document's text has the appropriate fonts applied. And that's how you use the File Manager and global fonts in the DynamicPDF portal. As this demonstration here shows, using the File Manager and adding global fonts are intuitive, but it is crucial you understand how to use both these DynamicPDF API features. I'm James, Developer Evangelist at DynamicPDF, reminding you, when you think PDF, think DynamicPDF API. See you next time.